Welcome everybody. Hope you're doing well. Welcome back to this week's episode of the weekly HO Scale newsletter recaps for June 23rd, 2025. If you're new to this series, this is where we take a look at a variety of newsletters in the HO Scale community, talk about new product announcements, all kinds of updates, as well as order reminders and things of the sort. As always, before we get into things, do me a favor and subscribe if you're new, or if you find yourself coming back anyways. Helps me to make a couple dollars, so really appreciate it. Like the video if you enjoy as well, or just want to help out the algorithm, and drop me a comment if you're excited about anything we talk about here today. And of course, if I missed anything, let me know so I can cover it next week. But let's go ahead and get started with ScaleTrains. Starting off here, they did put out a quick video on their pre-order process. Here's a quick summary down below in the bullet points of what that covered there in case you missed it. Main thing, in my opinion, no money down from them directly. Some hobby shops will offer that as well. So whatever works best for you, go ahead and take a look. Make sure you get your pre-orders in so the manufacturers know how many models to make, or if there's interest. That's usually the biggest reason, in my opinion, for pre-ordering on those models. In N-Scale, recent delivery of SD40-2s. There's most of the paint schemes offered in this run. Really like that Norfolk Southern with the yellow plow. Here's a quick reminder of those road names and paint schemes now in stock, as well as some details. And a reminder, those pre-orders, if you went through ScaleTrains directly, will expire on Thursday, July 3rd. Moving down into HO Scale though, the AC44C6Ms for Norfolk Southern have more availability now directly through ScaleTrains after pre-orders expired last Friday. I put out my review on number 4000, the Sonic Bonnet, last week if you'd like to check that out. Hopefully I caught some features that you may have missed. Unfortunate that the sagging pilot, the leaning pilot is still present, and you can almost see it in the pictures here going by as well if you really pay attention. That's the only really main draw that I've seen, besides the incorrect sound file that is factory installed on these that can be swapped over from ESU directly though. Here's a quick look at the models currently back in stock. Pretty much all of them still have availability as I'm recording this on Monday. More models in stock, the Operator 40-foot square containers. There are the paint schemes going by and road names here. These are shown in their backpacker well cars. And some more containers also in the Operator line, the CIMC 40-foot modern angled containers here. 4 options for you. And for those containers, more of the Trinity backpacker well car sets are also in stock due to the same pre-orders expiring as well. I have my eye on the Maersk backpacker set because it's got a couple cool containers in it as well, so I'm not sure yet if I'll be able to fit that into the budget, but it could be a cool model. Some pre-order deadline reminders. First up, the Silverside coal gondolas in their Operator line. Reminder, this is an ex-Fox Valley Models car that has been upgraded and also now includes molded grab irons, which is a first for the Operator line of cars, which will be the standard moving forward as well for the Operator cars. Really nice to see them not have the holes where grab irons might be. Another model with a pre-order deadline of next Monday, the Gunderson Multimax Autoracks in their Rivet counterline. These are fairly modern road names here. You've got the CPKC as well as a few others. Here's a little bit of history on the Multimax cars themselves, as well as some model features and all the road names and paint schemes offered. And final model with an order deadline of Monday the 30th, the new run of Dash 9s in the Rivet counterline. There's a little bit of history on the Genesee and Wyoming Veterans Unit. This is a very complex paint scheme, as they say, which is pretty cool. Haven't seen too many manufacturers make something like this before. Reminder, they are calling the Genesee and Wyoming paint schemes offered, as you can see here in the list, as a hypotypical because the grade crossing camera in the cab is not accurate. That's the only thing that is not accurate on those locomotives. Additionally, in this run, some Operation Lifesaver Dash 9s for Norfolk Southern. There's 2 different road numbers of those. There's a little bit of history on Operation Lifesaver, as well as the full list of road names and paint schemes in this run, so a pretty decent variety of options for you. A couple ex-Santa Fe units for BNSF, as well as ex-BNSF KCS units, so some of those sort of prime for grimed, as you might call them, in an Athearn line. And a reminder of ScaleTrains' summer road trip. This is a quick overview. If you're in the area of any of these, absolutely go ahead and check them out if you have a moment. And next weekend, they will be at the National N-Scale Convention, where they will have some new model announcements in N-Scale. Got some models in both the 1960s to 80s, as well as 1990s to present day on Friday and Saturday, respectively. They will also be at the National Train Show in Michigan as well in July. If you'd like to check them out, I'm sure they'll have some new announcements there. They do say their next steam locomotive will be announced, which is very exciting. I honestly don't know what to guess it might be. Maybe a Berkshire, not too certain. If you do hear anything through the pipeline, let me know so I can bring it up here, but that's even exciting that they're bringing out another steam locomotive. Some reminders of their Independence Day hours directly, but that's all we have from ScaleTrains. We'll move on now to Athearn next. Moving on to Athearn's Dispatcher, their newsletter for the past week. A quick recap of some of their announcements from last week. They finally have some new announcements in the Genesis line. First up, the SD90 Mac H's. Bunch of Union Pacific, of course, as well as some of the legendary liveries. There's the Frisco on screen right now. I've heard very positive things about that one. I expect that one to be the best-selling legendary livery, but haven't heard too much about the other ones, though, quite yet. Another Genesis announcement was a new run of MP15 ACs as well. So there are some of the schemes offered. A bunch of Wisconsin railroads like Sioux Line, ex-Milwaukee Road as well. And a freight car also in the Genesis line, the PS2 2893s. So there are the paint schemes going by. These are in 3 road numbers per road as they call out there. If you'd like to take a look at all those announcements in their entirety and see all the road names and all the details, I covered that in pretty good detail last week as well. Just don't want to waste too much time on repeat info here this week. If you do need some MP15 ACs right now, as they say, the most recent run recently delivered. I do like those GATX livery models. I believe they're all ex-Southern Pacific units. I think they look pretty neat. And on their Train Tuesday, they both talked about their new SD90 Mac H announcement, as well as their SD89 Macs that they announced October of 2023, which had that SD89 Mac for the first time, but combining both of those announcements in one video here, if you'd like to check them out on their YouTube channel. And here are some quick product shots. Here's a nice one weathered by Weather My Trains. Really like Rob's work. This is one of their Athearn labeled boxcars. If you'd like to purchase some of those cars, you can grab them from Athearn directly. But that's all here from Athearn's updates. We'll move on now to Walthers next. Moving on to Walthers' new Product Express for June 2025. First up in the Proto line, the Wabash Streamline Caboose. I will point out before we get into things that all the prices aren't shown here because there still may change because of tariffs, who really knows. So the updated pricing will be available on their website. In any case, this model looks really cool. These are expected to deliver in fall of 2025. There's a couple different configurations, and here are some of the paint schemes. So 2 options for Ann Arbor, as well as even more down below. This is all new tooling from them, including, of course, that Norfolk and Western Bicentennial scheme looks very sharp, as well as an undecorated model as well. Next model in the Proto line, a model I'm fairly excited for. These should deliver in winter 2026, but they are the Express boxcars, which are converted troop cars that were plated over. I do think these look absolutely amazing. First up, a batch of New York Central troop sleeper conversions, as well as an undecorated model here. And then on the left side of your screen, the CV&Q kitchen conversions, and on the right, the C&O troop sleeper conversions. I saw one of the tricolor C&O liveries going for a few dollars. I don't remember exactly how much, but a brass model. So it's really cool to see this make its way into plastic, which is really neat. Save you some money there. Both undecorated models there at the bottom as well. But this is one I'm very excited for, just to see make its way into the plastic market. Moving into the mainline series, the RSC2s. First time available from Walthers with DCC and sound. That's ESU lock sound in this case. These are expected to deliver in winter of 2026. And here's a look at the different road names and paint schemes. You can see there's 2 road numbers in each of those, as well as offer DCC or silent. Also in the mainline series, a new run of the 8-axle depressed center flat cars. These do look nice as well. There's a previous run model shown on screen in both cases. These are also expected in the fall. Here's a quick look at the different road names and paint schemes available. Another undecorated model in this as well. Also in the mainline series, this one with a winter 2026 expected delivery, a PS double door auto parts boxcar. Here's a look at those. Nice to see, as always, an undecorated model. I like calling it out because it's a cool feature that not all manufacturers do anymore, and there's still a lot of freelance or patch job railroads out there that I know many modelers still want to make into their own. Moving into the Cornerstone line, the Trussed Railroad Bridge with Roadway, which I think looks very nice. This is expected this summer. Here's a quick look at the side view of that. Like that it also has the guardrails on it as well. Another bridge, this is the Short Beam Bridge. This is offered in both tall and short configurations with different clearances depending on what you need. This is also estimated to deliver this summer. And finally, another summer 2025 expected delivery, the Tudor House, which looks very neat as well. Also a kit model, pretty good for the Walthers Cornerstone line. But that's all here for the new product announcements. Let's quickly go through their e-update for the past week. And moving into Walthers' e-update for the past week, in their last new product announcement, they announced a mainline series Greenville wood chip hopper. I think these look great. I was considering buying some on Facebook once again, but I didn't go for it just yet. But this could be a good model to grab some new road names in this run, as well as some new paint schemes. Also in the mainline series, Walthers is finally getting around to doing the CPKC GEVOs. These models do not have rear ditch lights in all cases, so just a heads up on that. If you're looking for an accurate model, this one unfortunately is not quite right, but if you're looking for one to stand in, do the job at a lower price point, this is absolutely a good option for you. Estimated delivery on those is winter of 2026. In the Proto line, a 50-foot Gunderson high cube boxcar for paper service here. Goes perfect with the superior paper mill that they recently announced as well. These are now in stock. A reminder that BLI's B6SB recently arrived as well, Paragon 4 or Stealth with a speaker installed. These are all Pennsylvania Railroad models. These are also in stock. And finally, if you'd like to pick up a Buick Century Caballero from Burkina, fairly often featured as a manufacturer in these Walthers updates, just another option if you want some more cars on your layout. But that's all here from Walthers. We'll move on quickly to Class 1 Model Works. And moving into Class 1 Model Works' newsletter for the past week, a quick reminder of their second run of Thrall 86-foot high cube boxcars is running low from them directly. So here is a quick overview of the road names that they have in stock still. I personally didn't pick up any. It seems like there's a fair bit of 86-foot boxcars from different manufacturers in real life, Thrall and Gunderson, with ScaleTrains and Class 1 Model Works, so you have a wide variety to pick from if you're looking to build some auto parts trains, so this could be another option for you. I still don't know when the CE3 caboose I ordered yet will be arriving. I hope that will it be in June, as they say, but maybe it'll be first or second week of July at this point, just because I haven't heard any order updates, but I'm really excited for that one as well. Bit expensive, but we'll see if it's worth it. But that's all here from Class 1 Model Works. We'll move on to Rapido next. And now for a quick update from Rapido, sort of a teaser model of the Southern Pacific PC&F Class 66B2 Economy Baggage and Mail Express cars. These are in HO scale, just 3D printed samples. You can see all of that underbody detail that they're going for here. Not exactly obvious here, which will be metal and plastic on the underbody. Of course, grab irons and such will be metal, I assume. But these look pretty cool. I'm excited to see the announcement of these. They say it's coming later this year, so stay tuned for that. We'll move on now to finish up with Division Point for this week. And moving on to Division Point, just a quick update here. Their Alco DH643 diesel hydraulics for Southern Pacific are available to order, coming in at about $2,300, so not exactly the entry-level model here that we talk about sometimes. Just an update that I'd like to cover because I think they'll be pretty sweet. Very limited numbers available if you'd like to grab some. And while editing this video, I remembered that the order deadline for the BLI power car is coming up on Monday next week on June 30th. So we'll jump right back to the outro in just a second. Just a quick reminder here, this is the product page for the model with the roof antennas and with sound. It's offered both with non-sound and without those roof antennas, as well as the same options as undecorated. Here's just a quick reminder of some of the early renders of this model. Make sure you go ahead and get your pre-orders in. I'm sure they will allow some pre-orders after the deadline, just as they did with the Fox River, and then they opened it up again. But if you are interested in grabbing some of these, would definitely recommend getting a pre-order in when you have a chance. But that's all I have in terms of newsletters and updates for this week. Thanks again for watching. If you did make it this far, consider subscribing. Once again, helps me to make a couple dollars, so really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Like the video if you enjoyed as well, and drop me a comment if you were excited about any of these announcements, or if you have any new updates of your own to share. Love to chat with you guys, and of course if I missed anything, let me know so I can cover it next week. But thanks again, and I hope you have a great rest of your week.